All right, first thing, Peter, we got to talk about is, of course, Kawhi Leonard. As you know, he was supposed to return 2 weeks ago now on Thursday when we were supposed to put out that video, and he never did, and that's the reason why I never put it out. But now we got, the players holding a players-only meeting about Kawhi Leonard. Popovich spearheading some of this meetings is what the rumors are. And basically, we got a quote from Tony Paker saying that I've been through it. Tony Paker, who spearheaded this meeting, told reporters that it was that he had a rehab for 8 months with the same kind of injury as Leonard, but his was 100 times worse. What do you think of this quote, and what do you think of this Kawhi Leonard thing? It's getting a little more weird now.
It is getting weird. Honestly, now it just seems like he doesn't want to play for the Spurs.
Yeah.
And he's coming up with whatever excuse he can not to play for them. The big thing, I thought a lot of people overreacted about the Manu quote.
Yeah.
Right? And I honestly felt like he was just saying, he said something about, we just need to expect him not to come back, right? And people took that as a diss towards Kawhi, but it was more like that felt like he was being honest. Like, the team just needs to play not with the expectation of getting a star player back. Like, we just need to play like this is our final team in the playoffs. Mm-hmm. This is a legitimate shot at Kawhi Leonard, right? Yeah. Obviously, he's being very direct. Like, my injury is worse than you. And maybe you could chalk this up to like a veteran player talking to a less veteran player, saying like, he's challenging him as a man, kind of, right? But I also think it's probably just a shot at him, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, this is weird coming from the Spurs organization. As you know, during the Tim Duncan era regime, you never really heard Tony Paker, Manu Ginobili, or any of these guys really say anything negative or make any controversy through their statements. It's weird to me now that, Kawhi Leonard, who's an even more quieter guy than Tim Duncan, but doesn't carry the same persona as Tim Duncan. It's just crazy to think that now players are taking shots at him. We got players-only meetings, and now they're saying that those player-only meetings are fake news, like Danny Green said to Adrian Wojnarowski's report.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious to see if, some of these guys, the, real veteran Spurs players are siding, obviously, with Pop and the Spurs organization. Yeah. And then some of the other guys, like Danny Green, right, has been there for a while, but he doesn't feel like the same kind of guy, like Spurs legend, obviously, as Tony Paker and Manu are. So maybe there's two different sides, right, where Danny Green amongst other players are kind of on the side of Kawhi Leonard. Maybe they see other problems within the organization, like when Marcus Aldridge did. Who knows? But I'll tell you what, if he doesn't play for the rest of the season, at all, I think he's going to get traded.
Yeah, it's either he's going to get traded or he's going to try and somehow finesse a move to not sign a contract, and 2019 he's out of there. It's kind of crazy to think that we were all thinking that he was a Spur for life before this season became a reality, and now all of a sudden it's like he's going to move. Like, there's a divorce coming, and the kids are waiting to see what's going to happen.
I think he's getting traded. I think they're going to trade up heavy in the draft and get a top, probably 5 pick, but who knows what happens. There might be people not willing to make a trade for this guy after this season the way it's played out, Because you look at what happened with Isaiah Thomas, right? And if it's a legitimate injury that's keeping Kawhi out, is anybody going to bet the farm on him?
Yeah.
Maybe not, but I think people will.
They probably will. I mean, I think right now what it is just a mental injury. It's psychosomatic. Obviously, to him, he doesn't feel like he's 110% healthy, and that's the way that Kawhi is, I think. Kawhi is one of those guys where he needs to make sure that he's more than just 100% okay to play. He needs to make sure that he's really healthy enough to play. And right now, I just feel like some of the players are taking these cheap shots at him for no reason. I mean, at what point do you get criticized for not wanting to play? Or not wanting to play, but at what point do you just get criticized for having an injury that you feel? Because you never know how someone else feels. But now these players are kind of challenging him to come back.
Well, they've probably seen him shooting, in practice and whatnot. And he's probably fine,
Yeah, I mean, he went 1-on-3 versus the videographers of the team.
I don't know. It just it's starting to come across as I don't want to play this season for this team. Trade me. I don't want to be here. And he's less direct than some people who are legitimately going to say, I want to be traded. He's just I'm not playing. My injury's holding me out. I don't want to play.
Yeah. To me, I don't know if it's the new management that he has. Obviously, now his uncle is in charge of his of him. So I don't know if that's kind of changing his perspective on things and, kind of, mind bending him a little bit to have his uncle's way of thinking, saying that
Jedi mind tricks.
Either Jedi mind tricks or some genjutsu for my Naruto fans out there.
I don't know. It's like he seems very different this season. Like his whole persona seems a little different. Like he's coming out and challenging. What is it, like Jordan Brand? Was it Jordan Brand?
Yeah.
For the shoe deal, he's like, that's not worthy of me. This whole Spurs, like the injury thing. He seems like a guy any other season before this. Even if he was hurt, he would have played.
Damn.
He just seems like that kind of 100% effort all the time player.
Mm-hmm.
So for such a weird character change where everyone's saying he's fine in the Spurs organization not to play, I mean, I'm very questioning whether it really is like a psychosomatic. I just don't believe that. Like, that's so crazy, and especially that's something we haven't seen in a long time, let alone the fact that you have a number one pick with it, and then one of the top 5 players in the NBA in the same season is like, I don't know. Maybe he's just taking a page out of Markelle Fultz's book, and he's like, I still have this injury, I can't play, whatever. Maybe he's seeing it and it's wearing off on him or something. I don't know. This story is so weird, and it took a long time for me to get to this point. This is the number one weirdest story so far.
The number one weirdest story. Yeah, I mean, just between that and the Markelle Fultz situation, this is probably one of the weirdest, if not the weirdest, just based on the fact that Kawhi Leonard is a top superstar, was deemed as the best two-way player in the NBA, and then all of a sudden, after the Zaza Pachulia shot injury, it just all went downhill from here, and now, I mean, we might even see him with a new haircut. He might surprise you with the new one. I don't know.
Get rid of the cornrows.
Get rid of the cornrows. Maybe go with a nice buzz cut.
If there's any team you think he could possibly get traded to, what do you think it is?
I mean, we've already made a conspiracy theory video out there. Make sure to check it up. It'll be in the annotation above. But we see him maybe to the Cavaliers, even though I don't think that trade will happen now because new stuff has appeared. But I think if he was to get traded, either I think maybe I don't know what the Spurs are willing to get. Like, what do they want from him? Do they want a top pick? They want a top couple picks. Like,
I don't. Yeah, it's interesting what they think they could get, right? And like a lot of people are speculating, like the Celtics, right? We just discussed that off camera. I don't think that one's gonna happen. But you'd have to give a young promising person, like player, and a pick, right, in this upcoming draft. They're not gonna wait another year. The Spurs, right? They want to compete every year. I don't know. I really don't know. It's weird. It's weird to even think of the top 10 teams like who are going to have good draft picks this year. Which one of those teams even has the pieces to give, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, my mind, I would say the Knicks, right? Because, of course, right? Give the 8th pick and Frank. That's not enough, though.
I got to give him Porzingis.
Never. Give up his ACL. They can have that.
Trade the quad for MCL.
I don't know. If there's any teams you guys think he could go to, just potential trades in general that would be worth Kawhi, let us know in those comments down below. Just because this could be an actual reality in the upcoming months of this guy getting traded, and to see not only one superstar in one, like the last couple of years, Kyrie get traded, but 2 in 2 years, that's insane. That hardly ever happens. Let us know, guys.